reactor, and this is where it sits in the middle of the craft. I drew these to better explain what Bob told me how the craft worked. Now, this is the craft, and the little orange spot is where the antimatter reactor is. These are the gravity amplifiers, and what happens is they shoot protons into the 115, which bumps it up to 160.
160, all right.
Which shows off antimatter, which is mixed with matter, and through a thermionic generator creates voltage out of heat. They then they're able to take us up to the center of the craft and down to the sides and into the gravity amplifiers and focus on a point in space, increase the amplification that pulls that space towards the craft. It wraps around the craft, and then they turn it off, and they're instantly hundreds of thousands of miles away. This is the antimatter.
Hey, shalom, shalom, shalom. This is your brother, Quadar, of GMS, Mississippi Gulf Coast. And I'd like to start by giving infinite honor, praise, and glory to the Most High and His Son, Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakakwadash. Double honors are given up to the elder apostles and the elders, the bishops of Great Millstone, as well as the heads of camps of Great Millstone and Great Millstone by and large. And last but not least, shalom goes out to the hopeful elect, the 1/3 of the nation of Israel, that innumerable number, which consists of men, women, and children in that order, who have come back to the obedience of the scriptures, as well as calling on the names, Yahweh, Yahweh Shai, to you all, shalom. Hey, first and foremost, let's start it off by saying, Abba Ratazah. If it be the will of the Father, just be edifying and get some clarity out of the hoax that Esau Edom is trying to pull on the world, but most importantly, you Israelites, you so-called blacks, Latinos, and Native Americans. He made a comment right at the end of the video to my in hundreds of miles, thousands of miles, these things can travel. They have the technology. Well, let's let him say it again. Let's let him say it again.
Shows off antimatter, which is mixed with matter, and through a
Listen to this here. I want this. We're getting to the part where I really want to focus on. So let's let it play.
thermionic generator creates voltage out of heat. They then they're able to take us up to the center of the craft and down to the sides and into the gravity amplifiers and focus on a point in space, increase the amplification that pulls that space towards the craft. It wraps around the craft, and then they turn it off, and they're instantly hundreds of thousands of miles away. This is the antimatter.
And they're instantly hundreds of thousands of miles away. And this cave maggot, what I'm talking about, this motherfucker who can't stop his skin from developing skin cancer when he get to a certain age, what I'm talking about, has the technology, has the know-how to make machines that can travel hundreds of thousands of miles in an instant. But yet and still he can't stop himself. Look at all that cancer on his damn hands and shit. He can't prevent himself from getting skin cancer. You feel what I'm saying? This is a bunch of nonsense, man. This is a ruse. There's no way that they can reverse the technology of the chairs because they have no chairs to reverse engineer. That stuff that they talked about in Roswell in the late 1940s and whatnot, that's all a ruse. The same material that they were showing you, that guy was showing in that picture, aluminum foil and sticks. That was the same type of stuff that they used to pull the moon hoax. Hoax. I think I'm saying that correctly. That foil stuff, I'm talking about the same stuff. This man ain't bit more got that type of technology than the man on the moon. Pun intended, Hundreds of thousands of miles. He got but I'm gonna tell you where he got that from, though. Let's go real quick here in the book of Ezekiel, and let's let him explain this off. Since they have the technology to make crafts travel hundreds of thousands of miles in an instant. You know what I'm talking about? Then I guess the Most High Yahweh Bashim Yahushua is copying off of him because he need to explain this then. And this right here, this is Ezekiel 1, and I'm gonna just get into. I'm gonna jump around here, but in doing so, I'm going to speak on the chariots, right, and how they move, you know, and how they move. So I'm gonna start right here. Let's see, Ezekiel chapter 1 again, and they went when they went. Okay, and I'm gonna start right here at verse 11, Ezekiel 1 and 11. Mind you, this goes into the description. I'm not going to read the whole chapter. Just, for those who have the ears to hear, may the Lord give you the understanding, of what's about to come out here. This is speaking about the chariots and also the occupants of the chariots, the angels. So I'm going to start right here, Ezekiel chapter 1 and verse 10. Now, mind you, they talk about little big-head green men with big black eyes and stuff that occupy these UFOs or APVRs or whatever they call them nowadays. That's a mockery of the angels, the messengers of the Most High Yahweh Shem Yahushua. So let's read this and let's make sense of him saying that the vehicles that they have reverse engineered can travel hundreds of thousands of miles in an instant. And if that's the case, then that would make him a god, for lack of better words, because it's in the scriptures that were written thousands of years ago, speaking about craft that can travel like lightning. You feel what I'm saying? Like lightning. So let's just delve into this real quick. This is Ezekiel 1 and 10, and it reads, as for their likeness, talking about the angels, as for their likeness of their faces, they had the face of a man and the face of a lion on the right side, and they had the face of an ox on the left side, and they also had the face of an eagle. And this is going into their characteristics. Different characteristics. These different animals carry different characteristics, what I'm talking about. But they were humanoid looking, right, for the most part. Okay, verse 11. And thus were their faces and their wings, which stretched upward. 2 wings of every one were joined one to another, and 2 covered their bodies. And they went, every one straight forth, whether the spirit was to go, they went. And they turned not when they went. Now this is going into the chariots. See this? This is going to the chariots. Like you'll see a fighter jet out there flying Mach 1 or 2. It has to turn around, what I'm talking about. It has to actually turn around because it can only, the human body can only exert so many G's, take so many G forces. And besides that, the craft that Esau, Edom, or these elites have, they can't just turn on a dime. You understand? This right here says in verse 12, and they went everyone straight forward, whether the spirit was to go, they went, and they turned not when they went. And they didn't turn. These crafts don't have to slow down and turn around, and they can zigzag and move like lightning. You feel what I'm saying? And if Esau has the technology to be able to move hundreds of thousands of miles in an instant, that would literally kill a man. You understand? Those G forces that would be exerted on your body, you wouldn't be able to stand that. You feel what I'm saying? The astronauts and whatnot, they have to go through certain trainings to jump on them damn rockets that can travel upwards of 15,000 miles an hour. They have to have these millions of dollar spacesuits, quote unquote, in order for them to survive that type of pressure. Now he claims that they have the technology to build, craft that can travel hundreds of thousands of miles in an instant. I mean, it's not adding up. You follow me? Let's keep reading here in Ezekiel. Verse 13, as for the likeness of the living creatures, their appearance was like burning coals of fire, and like the appearance of lamps. It went up and down among the living creatures, and the fire was bright. And out of the fire went forth lightning. See that? And the fire was bright, and out of the fire went forth lightning. And the living creatures ran and returned as the appearance of a flash of lightning. These things move fast. You understand? These crafts, the chairs of the Most High, how about Shem Yahushua, they move like lightning. And again, the human body cannot stand that type of G-force. This man is making this up, moving hundreds of thousands of miles in an instant. They getting that straight out the scriptures. They don't have material that can withstand that type of G-force. You know, verse 15, it says back in Ezekiel 1 and 15, now as I beheld the living creatures, behold, one wheel upon the earth by the living creatures. It says, behold, one wheel upon the earth by the living creatures with his four faces. The appearance of the wheels and their work was like unto the color of beryl. And when you get into that, that's a brownish color, brownish color. And they four had one likeness, and their appearance and their work was as it were a wheel in the middle of a wheel. Now you can imagine you standing beneath that and you see, it's spinning, somebody like a baron, Have you ever seen a baron in a spoke rim or something? How it can spin. If you're standing beneath these crafts, you can see the inner works. You just it's a wheel within a wheel. It's spinning. Okay, let's see. And that was pretty much the point, though. That was pretty much the point, lifted up, and the wheels were lifted when the spirit went, and it went covered spirit, which was in the wheels. I'm gonna read just a little bit more, just to drive it home. Okay, verse 17, it says, when they went upon their fourth sides, and they turned not when they went. See, they turned not when they went. Again, these crafts do not have to slow down and turn around. They don't have to slow down to turn around. They can turn in an instant and be headed back to back to the other direction. You've seen some of them on the internet, where they just a flash, poof, and they gone. They showed one I think it was in the state of Israel, where it hovered over I don't know what it was, what structure that was. But if you see that video, you'll see how it just flashed and it's gone. It zips out in a blink of an eye. And again, mind you, that ain't no human operating that. They sit up here trying to take credit for what the Lord has done. I'm talking about the creation of the Lord. Anything that we as quote-unquote human beings come up with, it's been given to you by instruction of the Lord anyway. You ain't came up with you didn't imagine anything. The Lord give you the vision to do that, Von Braun, talking about the one that made the rockets and whatnot. He was given that vision to come up with the mechanics to build rockets and whatnot. Oppenheimer, he was given the vision to come up with how to split an atom. He was given that vision from the Lord. So these folks is just running game on folks. Anyway, verse 18, and it says, as for the rings, they were so high that they were dreadful, and their rings were full of eyes round about them four. Talking about the windows. The eyes talking about the windows and the chariots. And when the living creatures went, the wheels went by them. And when the living creatures were lifted up from the earth, the wheels were lifted up. Whithersoever the Spirit was to go, they went. Thither was the Spirit to go. And the wheels were lifted up over against them, for the spirit of the living creatures were in the wheels. The angels were in these crafts, the chariots. Verse 21. When those went, these went. And when those stood, and when they stood, these stood. And when those were lifted up from the earth, the wheels were lifted up over against them. For the spirit of the living creatures were in the wheels. So this is going into, like I say, into the chariots of the Most High. And how they move in an instant like lightning. That's just what he tried to describe. They travel hundreds of thousands of miles in an instant. And you best believe if there's any humans inside there that haven't been changed in an instant, you know what I'm saying, they're going to be a spot on the floor. A puddle of blood, a mass of flesh, from that G-force and how fast that, that initial just move. You're going to give up the ghost and you'll be a pile of a bucket of blood and flesh. But anyway, yeah, that was just the point. You know what I'm saying? Esau Edom, man, he running the rules. There ain't no way in the world without divine intervention will they be able to come up with this type of technology. And on top of that, like I said, he's leaving out a lot of stuff like how can you get a human being to be able to survive those type of G-forces? Look it up. Go look up how the training that astronauts and Navy and Air Force pilots have to go through to fly those planes that they fly here. There's videos, their training clips, how they pass out after so many G's. And these planes are way, way, way slower than what a chair, So, they just running game. That moving hundreds of thousands of miles in an instant, they got that straight out of the book of Ezekiel as they move like lightning. You know what I'm saying? He ain't slick. He ain't slick at all. Anyway, I'm going to close out by giving infinite honor, praise, and glory to the Most High and His Son. Double honors to the apostle elders and the elders of Great Millstone with that shalom.